let's pick up right there. Let me show you the exchange of a renegotiation. So she reached out and she said, "Are you willing to purchase for a reduced price?" Now take it. This is a day. This is a day after I terminated, or 2 days. So when they come back with this statement, there's a leverage shift, right? She just disclosed to me that she's basically willing and desperate to take kind of a reduced price, whatever price. So automatically going into this email exchange, I have the leverage. This is what just to lay some context, right? This is how we're landed, right? Honestly, it would have to be significantly less. To have that much of a drop on both levels is pretty severe. It would take much more than a few peers to fix the structure, and we wouldn't know how much it would cost until we actually start cutting and digging in. I would like to purchase the property, but obviously it would have to work for the both of us. What price gets that done for you? If it's doable, I would discuss with my partner and see if we can make it work, right? Notice I did not come back with price. I don't want to seem desperate in this scenario because I still have leverage. Since I have leverage, she should be the one to disclose price first, right? So I let her know, hey, this is what we found. This is significant structural damage. I would still like to purchase the property. I'm still very interested, right? What price gets it done for you? And if it's doable, I'm not saying, Mrs., that I'm going to take your price. If it's doable, I will go talk to my partner. I'm now shifting blame or whatever on my partner. I got to discuss, right, to see if we can make this work. I'm not giving you a price. I'm just saying, hey, maybe if it's doable, if it works, let's see. She comes back. I understand. I'm willing to do 330. So automatically I drop from our contract that we signed before was 375, right? Now we dropped to 330. Perfect, right? So now in my head, I'm like, okay, we have some type of deal to be had here. Now, if I would have came back and I said, okay, what if I just reduce by 30 grand, right? I'm thinking, okay, that's a good enough drop. 30 grand from 375, that's 345. I would have been cutting myself short 15 grand, right? So since I have leverage, I'm gonna ask her to shoot price first. All right, 330. I told her still, look, I'll discuss with my partner first thing in the morning and let you know, are there tenants still in the home? Would it be possible for us to put a lockbox on the door for inspection purposes so we don't have to keep bothering Mr. Keller? Mr. Keller is the property manager, right? The 2 or 3 times that I've been out, we've had to contact Mr. Keller first. What am I laying here? I am laying the possibility or seeing if I can possible. This is the exit strategy that we landed on. I love the exit of listing the property on MLS. Listing a wholesale deal on the MLS. What does that do for us as the wholesaler? That exposes us to the biggest buyers list in the world, the MLS. We're now on market, right? That no longer restricts me from sending out the deal to my buyers list or sending it on Facebook groups, getting 20 emails here and there. I am now exposed to the market. If I can do this and bring her on board with doing it, this is where I'm starting to lay that foundation. Why did I ask, are there tenants still in the house? Because I need to know, hey, if we need to perform walkthroughs, right? Are the tenants going to be able to cooperate? Or am I going to be able to get buyers walking through the property at different times, whatever, right? Can I put a lockbox on the door? That would solve a lot of issues, right? That way I can have showings. That way I can do anything. And I kind of preface it so I don't have to keep bothering Mr. Keller, right? That's kind of how I prefaced it. So she says there's one tenant moving out on Wednesday. That would make the entire downstairs empty. Perfect. I'll check on the progress of the 2 remaining upstairs. Mr. Keller would still have to remove any additional furniture, but he is working on that. Mr. Keller lives right down the street, another property that I own. So, by the way, she owns another property down the street. If I can execute this, I can maybe execute some more. She said, so it's not a problem for him. He can just walk up the street. We can put a lockbox on the downstairs once it's empty. Perfect. Now I have a scenario of a picture of what's going on in the property. Tenant situation. Mr. Keller doesn't care to walk back and forth because he lives down the street. No problem at all. Perfect. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if we have to have showings, bottom unit will be empty soon. Also, I can do just a showing period. Hopefully this listing is going live today. I've already submitted it to it's called brokerlist.com. I'll show you that next. It's a flat fee listing service. I've already submitted the listing to them. Hopefully we'll get it listed today, if not tomorrow. If it's listed tomorrow by Thursday, I can have a open house walkthrough showing for interested parties on Saturday, right? I can tell Mr. Keller, hey, let's perform just a showing from noon to 1 p.m. And I'm going to have all my interested clients come by at that time, right? They've already been very cooperative, Mr. Keller has, so that should be fine. But at this point, I'm just gathering information, right? So next email. This is the next morning, right? I gave her the overnight to actually let it marinate, let her kind of get some, thought and friction behind it. So I like to present two different options when I go this route. I want to present the first option of cash, right? She wanted to renegotiate anyway down. She wanted 330. I'm going to present for my first option. I said, this is what we can do. We can sign a new contract for 315 and get this closed within the next 4 weeks. I want to hit her kind of lower than what she asked for, because this option is the option that I want. I want option 2. I don't really want option 1. Why? Because I've already flirted with this. I've sent it out to the buyers list. I sent it out to a Facebook group, at 400. Now this is a significant drop. But if I do get 315, can I still move it? Likely yes, right? I probably can. But to have the exposure of MLS and the opportunity to do that, even at 330, in my opinion, I'm going to be able to move it for a lot more. So this is the option I want. If I want this option, I have to make it sound better than this option, right? And I know I'm going, so keep up with me. So here, I'm 15 grand less than her minimum asking, right? If she takes it, it's still a deal for me, right? But at this point, I have leverage. I'm going to present 2 opportunities that work for me, right? And I'm going to make the one that I like sound better. This is the second option. We sign a new contract for 330, but you allow my company to list the property on the MLS. We've done this many times with property owners, and my team will handle all the listing obligations and the cost. In order to not disturb the tenants, we will simply have 1 or 2 scheduled showings with Mr. Keller, and he can assist with the walkthrough. Please let me know which one works best for you. Her price of 330 is in here, right? That's really what she wanted, was 330, right? So I made sure to give her that. But in exchange, you have to give me terms, right? You have to let me do this on my terms. Here, we can do this on your terms, which was 4-week close, but you have to give me price. We talked about in the boot camp, there's 3 reasons a seller sells: price, speed, convenience, right? So those are the options. Let's see what she says. What's the time frame for option 2? Oh yes, that tells me you're interested, at least into option 2, right? So I was very grateful to receive that email. We can do a 6-week closing date on that contract. I can typically get it closed out before then, but I prefer to put 6 weeks on the contract just to be safe. I want to give this option more time. Why? Because we're listing on MLS. I got to give it time for buyers to come in, right, and do the walkthrough. They're going to have to perform inspection. We're going on market MLS, so there's likely going to be a traditional inspection done, right? There's not going to be the 10-minute walkthrough or whatever. There's foundation issues. Some of the buyers might need to have a structural engineer come out. I need more time. So that's why I always go 6 weeks with this. Can I get it done quicker? Yes, right? But I always say 6 weeks to be safe. She comes back with, can we split the difference and do 322 with the closing date by the end of this month? Didn't really want to go into June. She is continuing to unveil the onion of what's important to her. There's a time frame in this email. Didn't want to really go into June. Not only that, you actually told me you're willing to take less than 330. right? You told me now we're at 322, but you just want to close by June. No problem. Would it work if I revise option 2, which is the one I wanted, to 325? Now we're under 330, and get a 4-week closing date. I give you your 4 weeks, but now I need even less of price point, right? Now we're at 325, closing in 4 weeks. I think that can work and hope for an earlier close. I'm now on a plane coming back to Atlanta and will check my email again once I land. Have my phone turned off. Thank you.